Jaywalking is now legal in New York City after Mayor Eric Adams, he declines taking action. Let's just let all the laws go. Don't worry about jaywalking. How about let's just get rid of the speed limit, zoning laws. Let's get rid of those. Anything else comes to mind? Let me know in the comments. And I say we do a campaign to all laws. Just let her rip. Let's get into it. Here we go. This is a pretty funny article, actually. I mean, how hard is it to find the crosswalk? You know, on the street where it's blacktop or concrete and it's always pretty dark. And then you got those big white things on the street. Just walk on those. Walk on those. If you get hit walking through those, yeah, you got a lawsuit, right? You don't have to run across the middle of the street. There's this thing called traffic flow and safety. Right? I mean, it's not that hard to follow, but apparently is because of racism. A part of New York's daily routine, a New Yorker's daily routine that marks a true knickerbocker from a newbie is now legal. Jaywalking, or crossing the street outside the crosswalk, was legalized in the Big Apple Saturday after Mayor Eric Adams failed to either sign or veto the legislation 30 days after it was passed by the city council and sent to his desk. Is this a good idea? If you think this is a good idea, if you think jaywalking is something that you just willy-nilly got to do, or do you think, being reasonable, I know you want to jaywalk. I jaywalk too. I do. You know what? I always feel bad because I'm like, you know what? I should really be following the law and being an example for others, but screw it. I got to get there. And this is going to save me like 2 seconds. So I'm going to risk my life going across an area where cars aren't necessarily looking for me, but I got to do it because, you know, my schedule is so important as a pedestrian wherever I'm walking, right? The law introduced by Brooklyn Councilwoman Mercedes, a car name, Mercedes Narcisse, decriminalizes crossing the street outside the designated pedestrian crosswalk, as well as crossing against the traffic signal, and scraps the previous $250 fine for jaywalking. $250, that seems steep. But you know what? In New York City, everybody walks, right? It's super hard to get around by car. So you got to keep people in line. It's there for a reason. It's there for a reason. And that's my thought. And it's not that hard to find the effing crosswalk and, I'm going to go there. And then you know what you do? You hit that little button on the pole thing. And then you wait until the crosswalk symbol says that it's okay for you to go. Nope. It's red. Oh yeah, it's white. Let's walk. Right? Narcisse, and criminal justice reform advocate, said that the decades-old law making jaywalking illegal and finable, established in 1958, it discriminated against New Yorkers of color, and decriminalization of the safety rule was a necessary reform. You know what's going to happen? This one's going to come flying back. Well, we recognize that the high mortality rate of our of a certain classification of New Yorkers, we're going to go back and we're going to reinstate that whole jaywalking rule because it did not turn out well. Look at the stats on this bad boy. You know something like that's going to come up. I don't get it. It's like, this is here for a reason. It's not that hard, folks. It's not that hard. Let's be real. Every New Yorker jaywalks. That doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it right. If, everybody shoots another person, does that make it right? No, right? People are simply trying to get where they need to go. Okay. Yeah, but there's cars on the street. That's the whole point. That's why you go on the crosswalk. Narcisse said in an emailed statement, laws that penalize common behaviors for everyday movement. Hey, try this. Use the crosswalk. And then it's not everyday common behavior to jaywalk. All right. Shouldn't exist, especially when they're unfairly impacting communities of color. Well, how about when cars, unfairly run over communities of color because they're not crossing where the cars are looking for them and it's a safety hazard? What about that? I mean, does this make any sense at all? I mean, it's 2024. I guess it does, right? More than 90% of jaywalking tickets issued in 2023 were given to Black and Latino pedestrians, according to the Brooklyn Democrat. Does anybody ever ask the question, maybe they jaywalk more? I don't know. It's 2023, right? How can these stats be that off, be that racist? You know what I mean? So you're telling me that, and we know there's a higher chance of getting run over by a car when you're not crossing where you should be. So are you telling me that there's a 90% greater chance that these folks are going to get run over by a car? And at the same time, let's go ahead and just get rid of that law that really kind of, still instills in people. It's illegal. It's illegal. You could get a big fine. I'd take that away. How in the world does that protect anybody? Just make it legal. Just run around, do whatever the F you want. The new law changes the city administrative code to allow pedestrians to cross the street at any point in the road, including against traffic lights. Oh, that's amazing. This should work out fine. Hey, let's play a little game called Frogger throughout New York City, and we'll just see how it goes. Yeah, you got to get your frog onto that log and then hop on another log, and then you get to the median section and boop, got run over. Wah, wah, wah. New law changes the city administrative code to allow pedestrians to cross the street at any point in the road, including against traffic lights. This should work out just fine. This should be all good. It doesn't, however, give pedestrians the right of way when choosing to jaywalk and warns that they should still follow traffic signals and rules. But you can jaywalk. Just run out into traffic. See how that goes. It'll be okay, including stopping for oncoming traffic. It warns that they should still follow traffic signs and stop for oncoming traffic. Hey, if you are dying to send me a storyline, best way you can do that is go on over to reasonabletv.com. We've got a link to Discord. Sign up for Discord. That is free. And when you get to our News for Reasonable People, Reasonable TV, go to top stories and then podcast story. This is actually where I put all of my storylines, and other people put their recommendations for me that they want to. Like this one, former police chief files suit against Seattle. Man, we've got some drama with our Seattle dude. He's our former chief of police. Or rants, Seattle business hit 4 times in a few hours. That gives me an idea of what you're thinking I should be reading. And it also confirms when I've got the same topic and I see a bunch of you guys send it to me, I'm going to podcast that bad boy. All right, back to your regular scheduled program. I mean, that's what you teach our children, right? Isn't that literally what we teach our kids? Do you remember if you've had kids, and if you haven't had kids, you held somebody's kid's hand to get them across the street. All right, little Johnny, we got a hot 2 here. Nope, we got to wait. You hold their hand, you make them stand on the street, not in the street, not in the crosswalk. And then the minute that light over there, you eagle eye that light over there on the other side, right? You eagle eye it and you're like, oh, okay, we got to keep an eye out on that. We got to keep an eye out on that. And then the minute that light turns, we go. But we don't go before that because we might get hit. And this article is literally saying, hey, by the way, and we're warning that you should still, stop for oncoming traffic. So bad. Things have just really. All road users are safer when everyone follows traffic rules. Now we're getting some reasonable content here, right? You guys are going to be safer. You're going to live longer if you follow traffic rules, including, hey, don't run out into oncoming traffic. That's a pro tip here. That's Sean's pro tip of the day. Don't run into oncoming traffic. Okay. All right. Yeah. City Hall spokesperson Liz Garcia said in a statement, we continue to encourage pedestrians to take advantage of safe mechanisms in place, like crosswalks and no jaywalking, such as daylighting pedestrian islands and leading pedestrian intervals by crossing in a crosswalk with the walk signal. Hey guys, just keep doing what you're doing and you probably won't get killed. Your odds of living go up astronomically if you don't run out into traffic. Another pro tip. Legislation also doesn't protect jaywalkers from being sued if they cause a crash by their actions. Not all council members were supportive of the bill. What a bunch of morons. Republican councilwoman, of course it's a Republican, called it a ridiculous in a previous interview with the Post. How can anyone imagine that this is a good idea considering the amount of pedestrian deaths we continue to have each year? It would only put more pedestrians in danger, she said in July when it was first introduced. And if blacks and Latinos are jaywalking at a much, much higher rate, they're going to get taken out at a much, much higher rate, given that we've got pedestrian deaths. It's like at one point in time, 25% of all the homeless deaths were people in tents that were sleeping on highly traveled arterials, and they were getting run over, or they're getting run over by cars jumping off the road, goes over their tent, kills them. People and cars don't mix. Cars are always gonna win. Just ask the dude that got run over twice by Suge Knight, right? I mean, how'd he do? Dead. Yeah. City Council has tried twice before to legalize jaywalking in 2020 and 2021. Why are we hell-bent on legalizing jaywalking? Why? Why would you do that? I mean, it makes no sense, right? In 2021 and 2021, but both bills were delayed and ultimately died when the council session ended. Plus, there were moronic bills. So, hey, let's just go ahead and see how this goes. Let's take safeties off of guns. Let's take seatbelts out of cars, parachutes out of planes, life vests out of boats. We no longer need life vests on boats at all. I mean, that's racist. Higher percentage, somebody dies, they can't swim. I don't know. So let's take off life vests. What other things can we come up that would probably, not be great ideas? You know what? Let's allow residential ovens to go to like 2,000 degrees. It should be fine. Let's let anybody install gas pipelines into homes. You don't need a plumber's license. Don't need a license at all. Just let anybody. Let's let non-carpenters frame up homes and have no city officials come out and check them. Should be fine. I mean, be all right. Be okay. Because, this is progress. This is moving forward. New York City is not the first city to decriminalize the act. It follows other cities and states like Denver and Kansas City, Missouri, California, Nevada, and Virginia that have done the same for pedestrians, according to Seattle-based pedestrian advocacy group America Walks. Okay. Cities that truly care about safety focus on street design. Okay, this is just stupid. Street design, speeding, and dangerously large vehicles. These vehicles are what they are. That's what a vehicle is. So just because you've got a Mongo Lincoln Navigator or a Ford Expedition doesn't mean you're going to run somebody over, right? But if you get hit by a dump truck, you're gonna die. That's just how physics works. Sorry, folks. So they want to blame street design, speeding. Hey, speeding. Yeah. Okay. Oh, beautiful concept. Get rid of the speed limit. But Autobahn throughout New York City, any speed you want to go, it's okay. The world's your oyster. Just go. Hammer down. Ride your motorcycle. No speed limits. Speed limits have to be racist, don't they? Don't they just have to be? I'm sure you could find a stat out there. Speeding tickets are given to more often than not. Mike McGinn, the group's executive director, said Tuesday, not jaywalking laws. Cities that truly care about safety focus on street design, speeding, and dangerously large vehicles. That is just the stupidest thing I have ever heard. I mean, what a moron. Now, you got to keep people off the streets, keep cars on the streets. That's how this works. Not that hard to figure out. New law was applauded by the Legal Aid Society. I'm sure it was. Their head is up their ass as well. You know, the nonprofit lawyer group said that the criminalization of jaywalking was often used as an excuse to stop an individual for further questioning, similar to stop and frisk laws that were deemed unconstitutional. Okay, but, whether that happened in the past, it probably did. It probably did, but I feel like we're past that. And I feel like taking these laws down, it doesn't really help anybody out. Know what I mean? I mean, if you know that you're breaking the law and you choose to do it anyway, that's on you. But now the government is just sanctioning something that is unsafe. This is unsafe. Crossing the road at any point when you just want to, instead of where cars are looking for you. Oh yeah, I'm coming up to an intersection. I'm going to slow down a little bit. Oh, there's some people there. Okay. Well, I don't want to run over one, but you're just driving through and some guy darts out that didn't see you coming. Boop. Yeah. So who's that going to impact the most? With this legislation now codified, we hope that both the Adams administration and the city council will continue to abolish relic laws. This is coming right back to bite them in the ass. Reviewing the statistics, it looks like that was a bad call. We had no idea. We're going to reenact the crossing at the appropriate points on a street. Cars need to be on the streets, people on the crosswalk. So yeah, relic laws that serve no public safety purpose. No public safety purpose, and only ensnare people in the criminal legal system. If you weren't breaking the law in the first place, you wouldn't be ensnared in the criminal legal system. Follow the law. It's not that hard. Why are we always making exceptions for people breaking the law? Why are we always making exceptions for them? We shouldn't be. This doesn't help society. This just creates more chaos and people getting run over. Ba-bump, ba-bump. Yeah. Oops. Yeah, he wasn't crossing on the crosswalk. Oh, yeah, but it's legal. So, hey, that sucks. What do you say? This is just absolutely ridiculous. If you think that this is a good idea, somehow in your head, if you think this is a good idea, you literally need to have your head checked, right? Because it's going to impact people that you're trying to protect from racism. And it impacts everybody. Now all of a sudden, everybody's like, oh, hey, no reason to stick it out. No reason to walk that extra 14 seconds all the way up there, all 72 feet up to the crosswalk and cross there. I don't need to do that. I can just cut right here. It'll be good. Come on, little Johnny, let's go. Oops. Yeah, that didn't work out well. Now some dude's paralyzed. What happened? Well, ran across the street. Oh, you ran across the street, not at the crosswalk? Yeah. And what happened? Oh, car hit me. How'd that go? How did your 150-pound body do versus the 4,000-pound car? Not well. Steel versus flesh and bone does not work out. That's why we have safety laws. But you know what? This is in New York City. I live in Seattle, but I'm sure this is coming to Seattle. I mean, if we've got these advocacy groups here, I mean, we can do drugs legally here on the sidewalk and nobody says a damn thing, right? You can just shoot up on the sidewalk. And you know what? People are like, this is just misguided compassion. Let's give them $1. Yeah. It's coming soon to a liberal city near you. All right. This is a terrible idea. But, yeah, it's good podcast content. And I got more of those coming, right? So thanks so much for being here. We'll catch up in the next one. Bye for now.